Hello, paranormal enthusiasts. Welcome to another spine-chilling episode of the Spooky Speakers. I'm your host, Seven, and today we're diving headfirst into the mysterious depths of Malaysian horror. Brace yourselves because we're about to uncover the secrets of Kampung Hantu. But before we plunge into the supernatural abyss, a quick reminder. If you're enjoying our journey through the shadows, make sure to show some love. Hit that like button, share with your fellow thrill seekers, and don't forget to subscribe. Your support keeps these eerie tales alive. Now buckle up, dear listeners, as we navigate the haunted landscapes of Malaysian folklore. In this episode, our intrepid investigator faces the vengeful spirits of the Pontianak, the sinister laughter of the Orang Minyak, and the relentless pursuit of the Hantu Pocong. It's a roller coaster of terror you won't want to miss. So, turn down the lights, grab your favorite blanket, and get ready for a supernatural thrill ride. I'm Seven, your guide through the unknown, and you're listening to the Segment Channel. Let the Malaysian horrors unfold. I never thought that my journey to the remote village of Kampung Hantu would turn into a nightmare that would haunt me for the rest of my days. It all began when I heard whispers of a ghostly presence that lurked in the dense jungles of Malaysia. Intrigued and skeptical, I decided to explore the truth behind these chilling tales. As I approached Kampung Hantu, the air thickened with an otherworldly aura. The village seemed abandoned, its wooden structures creaking in the breeze like ancient bones. Despite the silence, a feeling of being watched never left me. The forest surrounding the village was dense, the trees casting long, menacing shadows that seemed to move on their own. I met an old villager who agreed to share the haunting legend that gripped Kampung Hantu. He spoke of a vengeful spirit known as Pontianak, a female ghost with long flowing hair and a white gown stained with the blood of her victims. According to the old man, she was once a young woman betrayed and murdered, seeking revenge on any living soul that dared to cross her path. Undeterred by the warnings, I delved deeper into the village's secrets. The night was the worst part. Strange whispers echoed through the empty houses, and shadows danced on the walls as if mocking my presence. Sleep was impossible. Each creak of the floorboards felt like the footsteps of the Pontianak drawing near. One night, as I roamed the village with my flashlight cutting through the darkness, I felt an unnatural coldness seeping into my bones. The air turned thick with the scent of frangipani flowers, a telltale sign of the Pontianak's presence. My heart pounded in my chest as I tried to retrace my steps back to safety. But safety was an illusion in Kampung Hantu. The whispers grew louder, and the shadows converged into a grotesque figure. The Pontianak emerged from the darkness, her eyes bloodshot and filled with a malevolent rage. Frozen in terror, I could only watch as she glided towards me, her ghostly form leaving a trail of despair in her wake. In that chilling moment, I understood the true horror of Kampung Hantu. The Pontianak was not the only spirit haunting the village. An army of malevolent entities joined her in the pursuit of lost souls. They were the lingering remnants of tragedies, seeking vengeance on the living. I managed to escape that night, but the horrors of Kampung Hantu continued to haunt my dreams. The whispers, the shadows, and the cold presence followed me, a constant reminder that some nightmares are not meant to be uncovered. As I write this account, I warn anyone who hears of Kampung Hantu to stay away. The shadows of that forsaken village hunger for the souls of the living, and once they latch onto you, there's no escape from the haunting shadows of Malaysian horror. Months passed since my escape from Kampung Hantu, but the memories of that night persisted like a recurring nightmare. Sleep eluded me, and when it did come, it brought with it visions of the Pontianak's bloodshot eyes and the haunting whispers that echoed through the village. I became obsessed with understanding the supernatural forces that gripped Kampung Hantu. My research led me to tales of the Orang Minyak, a mysterious figure covered in black oil who roamed the night, terrorizing the living. Locals spoke of a pact with dark forces that granted the Orang Minyak unnatural strength and agility, making it an elusive and formidable foe. Driven by an insatiable curiosity mixed with a tinge of madness, I returned to the village. The air was heavy with an oppressive stillness, as if the very essence of fear lingered in every corner. I could sense the spirits watching, waiting for an intruder to fall prey to their malevolent whims. As I delved deeper into the heart of Kampung Hantu, I stumbled upon an abandoned hut, its walls adorned with cryptic symbols. It became apparent that dark rituals had taken place within those decaying walls. The flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows that seemed to dance to the rhythm of the supernatural forces at play. My flashlight illuminated a worn-out diary on a rotting wooden table. Its pages revealed the twisted history of Kampung Hantu, a tragic tale of betrayal, revenge, and the dark arts. The village had become a breeding ground for vengeful spirits, each with its own story of agony and despair. I continued my investigation, determined to unravel the mysteries that bound these spirits to Kampung Hantu. It was then that I encountered the Hantu Pocong, a ghostly figure wrapped in burial shrouds, forever bound by the unfinished business of its past life. Its mournful wails echoed through the night, sending shivers down my spine. The spirits, once confined to their tragic tales, seemed to grow more agitated by my presence. Shadows flickered in the periphery, and whispers turned into guttural growls that reverberated through the air. I could feel the malevolence intensifying, as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling. In a moment of dread, I realized that my pursuit of knowledge had unleashed forces beyond my understanding. The spirits of Kampung Hantu were no longer confined to the village. They followed me, seeking retribution for disturbing their eternal slumber. In the following weeks, the malevolent entities that had tethered themselves to my existence grew more sinister in their manifestations. Nightmares bled into reality, and the line between the living and the supernatural blurred. I became a vessel for their tormented energy, a puppet in their twisted play. The once distant whispers evolved into guttural commands, urging me to return to Kampung Hantu and complete the dark rituals that had been interrupted. Sleep was a fleeting luxury as the spirits invaded my dreams, replaying their tragic stories with an intensity that bordered on madness. My reflection in the mirror distorted into grotesque visages of the Pontianak, the Orang Minyak, and the Hantu Pocong. Their mournful cries echoed through the chambers of my mind, driving me to the brink of insanity. Desperation clawed at my soul as I sought refuge from the relentless onslaught of the supernatural forces that had claimed me as their own. Kampung Hantu had become a nightmarish realm that transcended the physical boundaries of the village. Shadows clung to my every step, whispering secrets that twisted my perception of reality. Faces distorted into grotesque masks of agony and betrayal, haunting me with accusing stares that penetrated the deepest recesses of my sanity. In a desperate attempt to break free from the clutches of the spirits, I sought the guidance of a local shaman. The air thickened with an oppressive force as he performed rituals to cleanse my soul. Yet, the spirits resisted, their malevolence intensifying as if they reveled in the futile struggle against the forces of light. The shaman's eyes widened with fear as he glimpsed the depth of my spiritual entanglement. "You have opened a gateway to the realm of the damned," he whispered, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. "The spirits are hungry for vengeance, and they have chosen you as their conduit." As the shaman continued his rituals, the supernatural forces unleashed a torrent of rage. The hut shook with an otherworldly force, and the temperature plummeted to an unbearable cold. The spirits, denied their malevolent desires, lashed out with an intensity that surpassed anything I had experienced before. In a moment of sheer terror, the spirits revealed their true nature. No longer bound by the tragic tales that had defined them, they hungered for the essence of the living. The shaman's chants became desperate pleas for divine intervention as the boundary between the physical and the supernatural threatened to collapse. As I write these final words, I am a mere shell of the person I once was. The spirits of Kampung Hantu have claimed my soul, and the darkness that now resides within me yearns for release. If you ever venture into the shadows of Malaysian horror, beware the name Kampung Hantu, for its malevolent spirits are not bound by time or space, and their thirst for vengeance may claim more than just your sanity. Days turned into endless nights, and the malevolent spirits continue to tighten their grip on my very essence. Every attempt to sever the ethereal chains that bound me to Kampung Hantu resulted in a surge of otherworldly rage. It was as if the spirits reveled in my desperation, feeding off the fear that pulsed through my veins. The once whispers transformed into insidious taunts that echoed in the darkest corners of my mind. They knew my deepest fears and darkest secrets, using them as weapons to break down the last fragments of my sanity. Shadows seemed to coil around me, suffocating the very air I breathed. In my tortured dreams, I walked the twisted paths of Kampung Hantu, reliving the tragedies that birthed these vengeful spirits. The Pontianak's mournful cries, the Orang Minyak's malevolent laughter, and the Hantu Pocong's relentless pursuit merged into a symphony of despair that echoed through the corridors of my subconscious. Desperation drove me to the brink of self-destruction. I sought refuge in the confines of a monastery, where the air was thick with the scent of incense, and prayers whispered like a shield against the encroaching darkness. Yet, even within the sacred walls, the spirits persisted, defying the very boundaries between the divine and the damned. The monastery's wise elder, a keeper of ancient knowledge, sensed the gravity of my plight. His eyes, clouded with age, pierced through the veil of my torment. "You carry the burden of Kampung Hantu's sins," he murmured, his voice trembling with a mix of pity and dread. "The spirits have marked you as a vessel, a bridge between their world and ours." As I wandered through the desolate landscapes, I encountered others who bore the weight of their own spectral burdens. We formed a fractured community of lost souls, bound by a common destiny dictated by the malevolent spirits that clung to us like parasites. In our haunted unity, we found a strange solace, for misery shared was a burden halved. Yet, the shadows that enveloped us whispered of a greater purpose, a dark destiny that awaited us in the depths of Kampung Hantu. The spirits, unsatisfied with their newfound existence within our tortured souls, yearned for something more, a grand design that transcended the boundaries of our fractured reality. And so, our spectral pilgrimage began, an aimless journey guided by the whispers of the spirits and the shadows that danced on the periphery of our fractured existence. As we approached the forsaken village, the air thickened with a foreboding energy, and the twisted structures of Kampung Hantu emerged from the shadows like ancient sentinels guarding the gateway to a realm beyond understanding. As we crossed the threshold of the village, the spectral chorus reached a crescendo, echoing through the haunted landscape. The shadows coalesced into grotesque forms, and the spirits manifested with an intensity that defied the laws of the living. In that moment, the line between reality and the supernatural blurred into an indistinguishable haze. And so, the fate of the spectral wanderers remained suspended in the ethereal tapestry of Kampung Hantu, a story with no conclusion, a haunting melody with no resolution. The spirits, having transcended the confines of their tragic tales, now dance in the endless shadows of an existence that defies explanation. The journey continues, and the spectral wanderers drift through the haunted realms, forever bound by the malevolent forces that have become an inseparable part of their tortured souls. So guys, what do you think about this episode? Well, for me, this chilling episode masterfully weaves together elements of Malaysian folklore, creating an atmosphere of suspense and dread. The author employs vivid descriptions and a first-person narrative to immerse the listeners in the protagonist's harrowing experiences, evoking a sense of unease and terror. The introduction of various Malaysian ghost characters adds depth to the story, and the relentless pursuit of understanding serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unraveling supernatural mysteries. The hanging ending leaves listeners haunted by the unresolved fate of the spectral wanderers, emphasizing the perpetual nature of their torment. Overall, this narrative captures the essence of horror, blending cultural elements with a supernatural thriller that lingers in the imagination long after the tale concludes. So there you go. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Segment channel, and hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.